Some Dumfries business owners are deciding to move away from commercial property and more towards residential outlets as demands grow and grow for renters from all across the world. Starting with just £20, Laura's business took off during COVID-19 while many others were failing. But with no retail space, her bedroom has become her warehouse. Farmers across Dumfries and Galloway don't want to have to go back to the situation they were in over the last 18 months, having to shear sheep and then burn or bury the wool, with prices too low to make it worthwhile to sell. Fleeces from these animals are turned into everything from jackets to hats and rugs. But the money they're making at the moment just isn't enough.
You have to handle the wool, pack it, then you have to transport it to the to where it's graded. Then the graders have to grade it. They then have to repackage it and send it to Bradford where it's sold, and you've got selling costs in that.
The Leonard Cheshire home was closed for almost an entire year due to the pandemic. Now, just a few months after reopening its doors, it's shut again.
We just have to wait and see whether it'll open. We hope it doesn't close all winter, because I think the thought of being all winter with no respite it doesn't bear thinking about, really. Because it's the only time my husband and myself get time together, really, on our own.
Some of the bridge debris has been swept onto the banks and access restrictions are now in place.
This coming Friday, local elected officials are meeting to discuss what happens next to replace the two bridges.
There's also got to be a prioritisation of individual schemes to determine what are the best and most appropriate schemes and the ones that have got, frankly, the greatest urgency about them.
However, in Dumfries, White Sands businesses say the time for talking is over. Would you walk away from all of this? After all these years, would you walk away?
I've got a bit of emotional attachment to my building. I've been here for 36 years. I started here when I was 16.
On this, one of the final days of COP26, climate activists have once again blocked one of the major arteries in Glasgow city centre. This time, Paisley Road West.
We've got 3 to 4 years to really make a big difference, as they did before the last World War, or we're toast.
Everyone dreams of having their own house, a place to call their own, to decorate and make into a home.
I was homeless and I was in accommodation for homelessness, and then I got my wee house and I get brought here for furniture that I needed, and now I work here.
Well, it's a wardrobe and a fire placed around.
And is there anything else you'd like to say about the organisation that's helping?
I wish I could give them some money, but I don't have enough. I'm on the social nowadays, and you couldn't do it now, but well.
Tell us more on what's been said today.
Well, today's been a pivotal day, both for Nicola Sturgeon, the leadership of the SNP, and potentially Scottish independence. Her government stand accused, as well as herself, of a variety of things by Mr Salmond. Evidence arose yesterday. The Scottish Government was advised to terminate a judicial review into the investigation into Mr Salmond, as they would likely lose. However, they proceeded anyway.
But how about the personal toll this takes on people? Because we don't often look at mental health in environments where you're constantly under pressure like this.
Following government guidelines, it should be possible to just say, look, take off your masks, you know.
The cruise industry is worth an estimated £10 billion to the UK economy, with port calls bringing in 6 figures to cities just like Belfast. And that has knock-on effects for bars, restaurants, and of course, bus tour operators. His house is actually just behind me here in these woods. There's a lot of intrigue, a lot of confusion here in this very quiet subdivision in Hixon. A sustained police presence. In the last 45 minutes, we've counted over a dozen police cars have rushed in here. So many areas of Chattanooga were affected. You mentioned Damnacola, you mentioned Lee Highway.
Yes.
We were in Cleveland earlier. There was concern in Athens.
Yes.
It's nothing spreads faster than fear. My name is James Mahon, and over the last 10 years, I've been using these little things to bring the news to you guys at home. This is The Alternative, Mosul University's main city campus, bombed and destroyed over the last 2 years. Professors fleeing for their lives in its location just a few hundred metres from the War on Terror's front line. No running water, no electricity and no Wi-Fi, and broken wooden desks. Yet over 1,000 students here at this university are trying to move forward. On the outskirts of Mosul, we pass this Christian Orthodox church. Sadly, it hasn't been used for worship for some time. So I'm standing in what is called a tunnel, and many of the Islamic State would hide underground in these tunnels and spring out and shoot members of the Peshmerga and the Iraqi army over the last 6 months to a year.